Interrogation Room 37D. Mayoral Office, Annex, 1:30 p.m. Harine was just giving Jack a bewildered look at this point. Having interrupted his story, not only to have Mr. Garcia removed from the room, but also so she could process what Jack had just said. She didn't understand his reference in the least, and it was bugging her that he seemed to be enjoying doing so. Thus, she did the only thing she could. What, pray tell, is a hoopy fruit? Oh no. Jack had a big grin on his face, and this meant the answer was about to be even more confusing than the lack of context. Ah, the human man said with a cheeky smile. It's just some guy who really know where his towel is. And there it was. There it fucking was. Of all the tits on this guy, he had to be the one to do this to her. Her, of all people. She just growled at him for a good minute while he had a good chuckle. And then, as that died out, he held his hands up, which had originally been secured to the chair, she might add, and motioned for her to hold on. So, Jack said, a hoopy fruit is a reference to a book series written by Douglas Adams. It's called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's a romantic drama series, and quite fantastical as far as things go for how space may or may not be. Harine was just dropping a tiny bit in her chair as even more reading material was being fostered onto her plate. First, she had the woman's right movement, now this book series. Hopefully, he wouldn't decide to put any more up there, because honestly, she was starting to think he enjoyed making her job harder than it already was. However, Jack did frown to himself, and she felt a glimmer of hope. She then realized Jack had his arms up on the table, which was not something that should have happened. And, that being the case, she gasped at him for a few moments, before growling a low, "You're not supposed to be out of your cuffs. And you all have the wrist size of elephants, and I can't close these any shorter than about my hand size," was Jack's cool response. However, unlike Mr. Garcia, Jack seemed like he wasn't inclined to run. So, Harine just gave her most potent sour glare and scrolled up on her itinerary for this interrogation. She had not realized this male was someone who was genuinely either mostly apathetic or maybe somewhat sympathetic to the cause. But she frowned now as she moved on. "I am told you actually had sex with this Marine." Jack rolled his eyes. "Well, considering I can't overpower you women, she had sex with me." Harine blanched at the tone he had used. It was clearly sarcastic, but she checked that off. "So," Jack's interrogator started in. "So, tell me more about the anchovies incident." 8 months, 3 days after the invasion of Earth. Pacholio's Pizza, 10:35 a.m. Oh God, that? Right. So it began with the fact that we decided our business model could stand to actually go out of its way to serve those of all sorts. This didn't make us popular, and after the purge of the 3rd Ward and the entire destruction of the 5th and the 6th Ward due to them being a bunch of lunatics, yeah, we were kinda strapped for cash. Now, listen, you ladies are a great source of income since the standard Shivanti trading cred, or, creds, are always good coin, and there's really no one willing to bring about the whole trade down thing. But frankly, with how much of our infrastructure got damaged, it's starting to get real hard to get anything in. So, we had the Shivani special downgraded from mackerel and herring to tuna and anchovies. Needless to say, you ladies were less than impressed, especially with the regular customers. But the incident isn't from this fact. They just tried other things when our special ran out of the fish they liked. The problem arose when the doughboys got wind of this tainted shipment coming into our shop. Now, yeah. Wait, what? Interrogation Office 37D. Mayoral Office, Annex, 1:30 p.m. Hold on, Jack. What is a doughboy? Hareen frowned, now having noticed that there were a mention here and there of such a thing, and a phrase. Jack had a small frown on his face. Well, it's kind of what we call the gang of guys I had working for me. Doughboys, 'cause we make dough? A pregnant pause and a lack of understanding on Hareen's face was there. Right, so a doughboy, or the doughboys, are pretty much what I call my kitchen staff. We make dough, and we make dough doing dough. It's meant to be a joke? Maybe? I think he got away from us some. Hareen massaged her temples at this point. Is this the point where you wish you had a towel? Because that's how you've been referencing it so far. Jack grinned. I mean, if I had a towel, it'd be more fun for both of us. And those damned wiggly, raunchy eyebrows. What an infuriating man.